I'm Kathy Thompson. I'm the Preservation and Long Range Planning Program Manager for Charles County Government, and I oversee the Historic Preservation Program. So that program aims to identify, to preserve, and really to celebrate the stories and the sites that are significant to our collective history. We have many historic sites in Charles County that are historically significant, and some of our earliest sites to be preserved and to recognize include sites that are associated with our Revolutionary War patriots, including Thomas Stone, the signer of the Declaration of Independence, or General William Smallwood, who served in the Revolutionary War and later became the governor of Maryland. And we have a wonderful tradition to celebrate of the Maryland 400, who were a group of soldiers who fought gallantly at the Battle of Brooklyn to hold the line, which was a key battle. So a wonderful tradition of sites that recognize and celebrate these early attempts to secure freedom. But there are other stories in Charles County that are similar in many ways, but much less well known. I had an opportunity to work with Angela Bailey and Cameron Nelson recently, who are two college students working on a fellowship for the Underground Railroad Network to Freedom. And they are documenting new stories that are significant to Charles County.
My name is Angela Bailey. I'm originally from Port Tobacco, Maryland, and I'm currently a graduate student at the University of Maryland, and I'm getting 2 masters in historic preservation and applied anthropology. I'm interested in the archaeology of slavery and becoming a historic archaeologist in the future.
My name is Cameron Nelson. I'm a senior history and political science double major currently attending Howard University. And I am a part of the 400 Years of African American Fellows Program sponsored by the Maryland Department of Commerce, Transportation, and the Network to Freedom Foundation.
The fellowship that I was a part of was created by the Maryland State Tourism Department as well as the Maryland State Archives, and the purpose of the fellowship was to nominate more sites for the Network to Freedom program run by the National Park Service. Myself and 3 other fellows were tasked with researching sites that could be included onto the Network to Freedom in regions in Maryland. The Network to Freedom is a program created by the National Park Service, and essentially the purpose is to document sites related to the Underground Railroad, or more generally, freedom-seeking stories related to slavery. And it connects people with those stories through tourism events, sites. It allows for grants to be given to those sites to do future interpretation, and it also documents the sites on a larger database for descendants or anybody interested to research this history.
So I actually became involved because I became a fellow of something called the 400 Years of African American History. This was actually a fellowship provided through the Maryland Department of Commerce, the Maryland Department of Tourism, and in partnership with the Maryland State Archives and the Network to Freedom Foundation. And so because of this, I had access to not only working with the Maryland State Archives, however, in my description for the fellowship, I also had to create applications for the Network to Freedom Foundation.
For my portion of the fellowship, one of the sites that I nominated was the Port Tobacco jail sites. There were 2 Port Tobacco jail sites in the 19th century, and I'm nominating them as sort of a continuation of one another. One of them, the earlier 19th century site, is associated with the Bill Wheeler and Mark Caesar 1845 escape. That was where they both were held, as well as other people involved with the escape. It was where Bill Wheeler eventually escaped in 1846 and when they were held waiting for trial. And the later jail site, which is located nearby the earlier one, was the site of a few escapes as well. And they're no longer standing. They just survive as archaeology sites, but they were documented and found in the recent years, located outside of the currently reconstructed Port Tobacco courthouse.
Originally, I had my first assignment for my fellowship was actually to do research on Harriet Sheppard. She was actually an enslaved woman from Chestertown, Maryland, who actually managed to escape via the Underground Railroad. Of that, one of my sources had originally said that she went by the alias of Rachel Moore. However, after doing more and more research, I found out that these two women were completely different. And this actually had led me and piqued my interest in the fact that many of the stories that at first we thought we knew might have minute or minor details that we think all bring the story together, but in reality could lead to a completely different pathway. So when my second assignment was to look into what we perceived as this completely different Rockville insurrection or resistance, I was extremely interested when we found out that the people involved were actually connected, seeing stories about what at that time I just saw or assumed was just another enslaved person called Bill Wheeler. And then after speaking with one of my fellows, Angela Bailey, who was actually covering the Port Tobacco insurrection or escape, we actually were able to piece things together and see these are actually related. And so this really brought out my enthusiasm and just pure excitement to do more research on the site.
I think the story of Mark Caesar and Bill Wheeler, who faced tremendous danger and bravery in their quest for freedom, is a story that equally deserves to be recognized and elevated and documented. So that's why I was so excited to work with Angela and Cameron on this project and to continue efforts to identify the sites that are significant to this story and work to preserve them for future generations.
Harriet Tubman, known as the Moses of her people, was a conductor of the Underground Railroad. She also served as a scout, spy, guerrilla soldier, and nurse for the Union Army during the Civil War. Tubman's exact birth date is unknown, but estimates place it around the 1820s in Dorchester County, Maryland. Born Aramita Ross, the daughter of Harriet Green and Benjamin Ross, she had 8 siblings. By age 5, she was rented out to neighbors as a domestic servant. She entered a marital union with John Tubman, a free black man, in 1844. Although slaves were not legally allowed to marry, she took his name and dubbed herself Harriet. Contrary to legend, Tubman did not create the Underground Railroad. It was established in the late 18th century by black and white abolitionists. Tubman benefited from this network of escape routes and safe houses in 1849 when she and 2 brothers escaped north. She returned to the eastern shore of Maryland over the next 11 years, leading 70 slaves and providing instructions to 60 more to reach freedom in the north. The famous abolitionist William Lloyd Garrison called her Moses, and the name stuck. Her travels became information that made her important to Union military commanders during the Civil War. As a Union spy and scout, Tubman often transformed herself into an aging woman. She would wander the streets under Confederate control and learn from the enslaved population about Confederate troop placements and supply lines. As a nurse, Tubman dispensed herbal remedies to black and white soldiers dying from infection and disease. In 1896, she established the Harriet Tubman House for the Aged on land near her home. Tubman died in 1913 and was buried with military honors at Fort Hill Cemetery in Auburn, New York.
Applying for jobs with Charles County government is now easier and more efficient. Visit www.charlescountymd.gov for more information.
I'm Doria Fleischer, your Charles County Government Community Engagement Coordinator. One of my favorite parts of my job is being able to facilitate Citizens Academy. Citizens Academy is a program that we run twice a year through county government, and it's a chance for citizens to get to know more about how county government operates. What I like about this program is that it brings in everyday citizens like you who want to learn more about what county government does, how they do it, and how you can become more involved and engaged. A key component of Citizens Academy is how individuals come together as a cohort. Listen to what some of our Citizens Academy ambassadors have to say about their experience in the program.
The program opened my eyes to various ways that I could become a more engaged citizen, from serving on boards and commissions to ideas for program improvements and just meeting the multitude of really successful and helpful people who run the government, and just sharing different ideas and perspectives with them.
So what I've learned from Citizens Academy is connecting with others and getting others involved in terms of the resources that Charles County government has to offer. And so I think definitely spreading the word to neighbors and friends about the vast resources that Charles County has.
Citizens Academy was important to me because I live here. My children go to Charles County Public Schools. We live and spend money here in the county. And I wanted to ensure that I was doing my part to be a good citizen and bring accurate information and accurate resources to my neighbors as best that I can.
I believe that it is a good resource for every citizen of Charles County that they should get involved in the Citizens Academy. That's why it's called Citizens Academy.
This is a great program. It's a great opportunity to meet neighbors, meet other residents from other parts of the county. And we have a lot of different people here. So it's just a great opportunity to meet neighbors that you wouldn't necessarily bump into at the local grocery store.
If you or someone you know is interested in participating in Citizens Academy, please visit our website and learn more about this great program. We hope you'll get involved and stay engaged.